Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by green hills and slow-moving rivers, lived a humble lantern maker named Thomas Gray. Thomas was kind, patient, and gentle. His hands shaped glass and light into beautiful lanterns that glowed softly in the dark streets of the village. People admired his work, but not everyone respected him. Across the street lived Mr. Clark, the village tax collector, a proud and sharp-tongued man, always suspicious of others. He often accused Thomas of cheating his customers. "Your light isn't worth the price you ask," he'd shout in the marketplace for everyone to hear. Thomas would smile politely and try to explain, talking about good glass, fine oil, and careful hands. But Clark never listened. He only smirked and walked away, leaving Thomas feeling small and misunderstood. Days turned into months, and Thomas kept explaining, defending his honesty. Yet every time he tried, rumors spread even faster. "Thomas is greedy," they whispered. "He hides money in his workshop," others said. Every word he spoke to clear his name only made the shadows grow darker. That night, sitting near his small fire, Thomas stared at his flickering lanterns and whispered, "Why can't they see the truth? Why do I have to keep explaining?" One morning, an old monk passed through the village. People gathered around him for blessings and wisdom. Thomas, tired and disheartened, also approached. When the crowd thinned, he said quietly, "Sir, I try to be honest. I never cheat anyone. But no matter how much I explain myself, they twist my words. What should I do to make them understand?" The monk looked at him kindly and asked, "If a man believes the sky is green, what color is the sky to him?" Thomas frowned and said, "It would still be green, I suppose." The monk smiled gently and said, "Then, my son, will your explanations change his eyes?" Thomas shook his head slowly. "No, they wouldn't." The monk placed a soft hand on his shoulder and said, "Then stop explaining colors to those who refuse to see. Let your work be your answer. Silence is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in peace." And with that, the monk walked away, leaving Thomas standing still, feeling as if someone had just calmed a storm inside his heart. From that day on, Thomas changed. He stopped defending himself. When people accused him, he simply smiled. When Mr. Clark mocked him, Thomas bowed politely and said nothing. At first, the villagers thought his silence was guilt. "See, he has no words left," Clark shouted. But Thomas stayed calm and kept working. Each evening, he placed one glowing lantern outside his shop, and that single light burned longer than any other. Travelers passing through the village said its warm glow made the road feel safer and gentler. Soon, people from nearby towns came to buy his lanterns, not because of his words, but because of the quiet peace his light carried. One evening, even Mr. Clark came, embarrassed but humble. He placed 3 coins on the counter and said, "I need a lantern for my porch." Thomas nodded, handed him a lamp, and said softly, "It will serve you well." No anger, no defense, just peace. Days later, the villagers saw Clark standing outside his home, staring at the flame of Thomas's lantern. He didn't say it aloud, but something in his face had changed. He finally saw what words could never show. Truth doesn't need to shout. Weeks passed, and Thomas's shop glowed brighter than ever. He spoke kindly, but never explained himself again. If someone misunderstood him, he let them. If someone doubted him, he smiled. His silence became his protection, and his peace became his greatest wealth. One night, as Thomas placed a lantern outside his door, a little boy asked, "Mr. Thomas, why do your lights shine so beautifully?" Thomas looked at the flame and said, "Because I no longer waste my fire trying to light the darkness inside others. I keep it here, where it belongs." The boy smiled, and the lantern flickered warmly against the dark sky. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. When people are trapped in their own illusions, silence becomes your greatest strength. You don't have to defend your truth to those who've already made up their minds. Peace isn't found in being understood. It's found in understanding that you no longer need to explain. When you stop chasing validation, you begin to feel something beautiful: freedom. You start living for your own peace, not for someone else's approval. And in that quiet space, life starts to feel lighter, calmer, and real. If this story touched your heart, remember, there are many more like this, each one carrying a light of peace, hope, and self-discovery. So subscribe to Tales with English and keep your inner light glowing. Until next time, stay kind, stay calm, and stay peaceful.